My name is Miss Jillian, and I'm a librarian working with the Petersburg Public Library this summer for our summer reading program, Imagine Your Story. If this is the first time you're joining us for Storytime, welcome. And if you have joined us before, welcome back. I'm glad to have everyone here for Storytime. We are going to continue with our Inspiring Books series. I have 3 more books that are very inspiring and I hope will inspire you. Now the first book that I have is called We're All Wonders, and it's written and illustrated by R.J. Palacio. We're All Wonders is based off of its original story, Wonder, and it's about a little boy who is a little bit different from everybody else. He looks a little bit different. And unfortunately, some children did not treat him very well because of this. So this book is all about discovering, even if people don't believe so, you are a wonder. We're All Wonders, written and illustrated by R.J. Palacio, and I'm reading it with permission from Penguin Random House. I know I'm not an ordinary kid. Sure, I do ordinary things. I ride a bike. I can eat ice cream. I play ball. I just don't look ordinary. I don't look like other kids. My mom says I'm unique. She says I'm a wonder. My dog Daisy agrees. But some people don't see that I'm a wonder. All they see is how different I look. Sometimes they stare at me. They point or laugh. They even say mean things behind my back. But I can hear them. It hurts my feelings. It hurts Daisy's feelings too. When that happens, I put on my helmet. I put Daisy's helmet on too. And then we blast off! Up, 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 up through the clouds. Across the galaxy. All the way to Pluto. We say hello to old friends. From far away, the Earth looks so small. I can't see any people, but I know they're there. Billions of people. People of all different colors. People who walk and talk differently. People who look different like me. The earth is big enough for all kinds of people. I know I can't change the way I look, but maybe, just maybe, people can change the way they see. If they do, they'll see I'm a wonder. And they'll see that they're wonders too. We're all wonders. The end. That was We're All Wonders by R.J. Palacio, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is such a wonderful story and a sweet message. We're all wonders. We're all different. Every last one of us has something that's different from the next person. But that doesn't mean that we're not special, doesn't mean that we're not unique, and it doesn't mean that we're not valued. So this is an excellent message to you, boys and girls. No matter how different you think you may feel, you are a wonder. You are special. And just like last week, if you remember, you matter. The next story I have for you today is another book from the same series. If you were with us last week, we read Ada Twist, Scientist, where there are quite a few books in that series, and I'm very excited to read to you another one. This one is Rosie Revere, Engineer. And if you recall with Ada Twist, Ada had a very special talent. Does anyone remember what Ada was? I'll give you a minute. Did anyone say scientist? Well, you would be correct. So Ada Twist was a scientist. And Ada, she didn't speak right away because she was taking her time to take everything in. And once she started talking, she had all of these questions to ask about the world because she was a scientist. She wanted to figure out what the world was about. And this week, we have Rosie Revere, and Rosie Revere is an engineer. And you're going to find out exactly what that means. So let's get started with our next story. Rosie Revere, Engineer, and it is written by Andrea Beaty with pictures by David Roberts, and I am reading it with permission from Abrams Books. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head. some parts of a fan, and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. "I love it," Fred hooped. "Oh, I do." But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day, kept her dreams to herself. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long, long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. "The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams." That night, as Rosie lay wide awake in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky, and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her an invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The helio cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer." She turned round to leave, but then Great-Great-Aunt Rose grabbed a hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. "You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next." Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. "I failed," said dear Rosie. "It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed." "Yes," said her great aunt, "it crashed, that is true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie. Before that, it flew. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed, and Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. The end. I hope you enjoyed Rosie Revere, Engineer. I think there is so much to learn from Rosie's story. First of all, you need to find what is your passion. What are you good at? Or what do you want to be good at? We don't always know right away. If you recall with our Magnificent Yet, you were trying to get there, but you weren't there yet. And this is a very similar story along with Ada Twist. You all have a special passion inside of you for something maybe you haven't found yet, maybe you have, but maybe you're not quite as good as you would like to be. But there's an important message in this story, and that is to not give up, right? We don't just wake up being fantastic at something, no matter what you want to do. If you're an artist, if you want to play a particular sport, if you want to learn math really well, whatever that is, it takes time, and give yourself time. And Rosie had something very special. She had something in her aunt. Her aunt believed in her. So find that person who is going to inspire you, who's going to push you to keep moving, and listen to what they have to say, because they're right. You are special. You have a wonderful talent, either that you already know that you have, or as you're still developing it. And either way, you have something special to share with the world, and I want you to never forget that. And just keep reading inspiring books like this, because they even help me. Because if we're continuing to work at something, sometimes we get a little frustrated if it's not working out the way that we want to. Just remember, you can do this. You got this. Don't lose hope and don't give up. Okay, boys and girls, for our craft today, we're going to do a fun activity to go along with our book, We're All Wonders, that we just read. So what you will need is a piece of paper, a pencil, scissors, make sure they're safety scissors, some tape, and then whatever kind of markers or crayons you have around your house to use. And so this is what I want you to do. The first thing you're going to do is make a self-portrait of yourself. So on a piece of paper, not too big, kind of like maybe in the middle of the paper, make a self-portrait of yourself. However you see your beautiful shining faces. It could be whole body, just your face, whatever you would like. And then at the bottom, I want you to write, I am a wonder because, and I'll show you mine. So this is me, just a quick photo of, or drawing of myself, I should say. And at the bottom I wrote, I'm a wonder because I am kind. Now I want you to think about this. When you think about why you're a wonder, I don't want it to be something that you're good at, something that you've mastered. I want you to think about what is inside of you. What makes you special? What makes you unique? So is it that you help your mom with the dishes every evening? Or maybe you help with your brothers or sisters? Or maybe that you're a really good friend? Or even how about you're very funny, like you have a good sense of humor. But I want you to think about something that truly defines who you are, not something that you do, but who you are, because that's what makes you a wonder. And then after you've done your self-portrait and written I'm a wonder because, you're going to cut out the paper however you like. You might want to do a heart, you might want to do a square, maybe some ziggly lines, whatever you think will be fun. And then you're going to put it someplace where you will be reminded that you are that wonder. So it could be on your fridge, it could be next to your bed, anywhere where you might need a little bit of inspiration, because sometimes we can get a little bit down. Maybe people aren't so nice to us, maybe we're just having a bad day. But either way, we might forget sometimes that you're a wonder. So I don't want you to forget that. You are the wonder, you are special, and you are unique. And I don't want you to forget that. I have one more story to share with you today. And it is The Day You Begin. And it is written by Jacqueline Woodson. And it's illustrated by Rafael Lopez. And it's a wonderful story that I think is perfect for the beginning of the school year, which is what we're about to start. So your classrooms may look a little bit different this year, right? You may not be in a traditional classroom for now, but you are still going to have classmates. And hopefully there will be some sort of way where you will still get to know who your classmates are. And this story is about, very similar to the others, where may not be just like everybody else, but you have something to offer. You have something that's special. The Day You Begin, written by Jacqueline Woodson, with pictures by Rafael Lopez, and I'm reading this with permission from Nancy Polson Books. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto, and we just moved here from Venezuela. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. Rigoberto from Venezuela, your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming the first bright notes of a song. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller. When the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer?" Tell the class your story. "We went to France," Shayla says. "These shells came from a beach in Maine." A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells, so fragile they look like they might turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina. Each souvenir a small triumph of a journey. Their travels going on and on. And as you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb, and your days spent at home caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen asleep. And in that room, where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this, when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love as you do. When even your own friend Nadia will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat and the kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. There will be times when the climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, the game isn't one you can ever really play. I don't want him on my team. You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later. There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't know yet what you're ready for. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my little sister. You tell the class. Your voice stronger than it was a minute ago, reading books and telling stories. And even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. And all at once, in the room where no one else is quite like you, the world opens itself up a little wider to make some space for you. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not quite like you at all. The end. And that was the day you begin. I hope you enjoyed this story as well. I think it has another wonderful message that there is no one quite like you. And again, just like the last story that we read, you might feel that you're a little bit different than everybody else, but again, that's okay because we all have something special to offer. And what's wonderful about it is if we can discover what's wonderful about everybody else. And even just like in this story, you might find that you have something in common with someone else. So what can you share or offer to somebody else? What's unique? What's special about you? With all of these stories, The Day You Begin, We're All Wonders, and Rosie Revere, Engineer. These are stories about children who have something great to offer to the world. So when you meet your new classes, share who you are. Share a story about you. It's okay if it feels different from the other kids. In fact, that's even better, which means that you can stand out and just show the world how wonderful and special that you are. I hope that you have enjoyed the summer Storytime series with me, Miss Jillian. And I hope you read lots and lots of books. The Petersburg Public Library is offering Drive Up pickup for stories, so you can put your books on hold and pick up some fabulous books that I hope will be inspiring to you. Happy reading, everybody.